Imagine holding a small silver coin in your palm, the denarius. It's cool, heavy, etched with the face of Augustus Caesar. In 27 BC, this coin bought you a loaf of bread, a day's labor from a mason, or the loyalty of a legionnaire for a month. Rome was the unbreakable empire, 50 million souls across 3 continents, roads that still whisper secrets 2,000 years later, aqueduct feeding cities of marble. But fast forward 300 years to 270 AD, and that same coin is a worthless bronze trinket plated with a whisper of silver. Prices have exploded 1,000%. Armies mutiny for pay, barbarians pour through the gates. Rome doesn't fall to swords or sieges, it falls to inflation. A hyperinflation so vicious it erased $1 trillion in today's wealth. Stick around till the end, because this isn't dusty Roman trivia. It's a blueprint for empire survival, and the secret why America's dollar stays king in 2025, while Rome's denarius became dust. Let's rewind to the glory days. In 100 AD, under Emperor Trajan, Rome is the apex predator of history. Legions from rainy Britain to sun-baked Egypt march to the beat of the denarius, 95% pure silver, 3.9 grams of unyielding value. This isn't just money, it's the world's first global reserve currency. Trade explodes. Silk Road caravans haul shimmering fabric from China. Spice ships from India dock in Ostia, laden with pepper worth its weight in gold. North African grain fleets feed 1 million mouths in the Eternal City. Rome's economy? A staggering $200 billion in modern terms, all anchored by that shiny coin. Taxes in sesterces, 4 denarii to the piece, fund miracles. The Colosseum's roaring crowds, Hadrian's Wall holding back the Picts, aqueducts channeling mountain snow to marble fountains. Emperors like Nerva and Trajan knew the rule. Strong money breeds strong loyalty. No funny business with fiat paper or endless printing. Silver meant trust. The denarius was Rome's sword, shield, and scepter. But by 200 AD, the first cracks spiderweb across that silver facade. Endless wars with Parthia drain the treasury like a sieve. The Antonine Plague sweeps through, killing 5 million, 10% of the empire. Enter Septimius Severus, the African-born emperor who claws to power in 193 AD. To pay his Praetorian Guard and buy loyalty, he does the unthinkable. He starts clipping coins, shaving silver edges, mixing in base bronze. It's a small cut, from 95% to 90% purity, but it's the first drop of poison in the well. 211 AD. Severus's son, Caracalla, inherits the throne, a paranoid butcher who grants citizenship to every free man in the empire just to tax them harder. Facing mutinies and empty coffers, he doubles down on Dad's bad habit. The denarius? Now 50% silver at best. Suddenly, that coin buys half the bread it did 5 years ago. Merchants, sharp as daggers, hike prices overnight. A loaf jumps from 1 to 2 denarii. Soldiers, the empire's backbone, demand double pay or they walk. Caracalla's fix: mint more coins, 20% more each year, debased and desperate. Inflation creeps in at 10% annually, a silent thief. By his assassination in 217 AD, stabbed by his own Praetorian prefect, Rome's markets are chaos. The poor hoard what real silver they can find. The rich flee to villas with their gold. Wheat doubles in price over a decade. The Roman dream, bread and circuses, starts to curdle. But Caracalla is just the appetizer. The main course of doom is coming. The crisis of the 3rd century. 235 to 284 AD, the 50-year nightmare historians call the crisis of the 3rd century. 50 emperors rise and fall in 50 years, most murdered by their own men or foreign invaders. Civil wars rip the empire apart.
Sassanid Persians sack Antioch. Goths raid the Balkans. The treasury, a black hole. Enter Aurelian, the restorer of the world, in 270 AD. He crushes the Palmyrene Empire, beats back the barbarians, and tries to save the coinage with the Antoninus, a new silver piece meant to replace the dying denarius. But it's a joke. 5% silver at best, mostly bronze with a thin wash. Prices? They don't creep, they explode. By 270 AD, a pound of gold cost 72,000 denarii, up from 1,000 in 200 AD. That's 7,200% inflation in 70 years. Hyperinflation in slow motion. Farmers abandon fields for barter. Trade routes turn to ghost trails. Cities shrink by half. Rome's population plummets from 1 million to 500,000. Diocletian seizes power in 284 AD, the tough Illyrian who splits the empire into tetrarchies for control. His fix, the Edict on Maximum Prices, a 1,500-word decree capping everything from Egyptian wheat to 100 denarii per artaba, to Egyptian beer from 3 to 4 denarii per sextarius. Violators face execution. Black markets boom. Smuggling becomes big business. The edict fails because you can't cap prices when the money itself is poison. Rome's $12 trillion economy, temples, legions, trade, evaporates in debased dust. 312 AD, Constantine the Great, fresh from his Milvian Bridge victory and in this sign conquer vision, shifts the game. He converts to Christianity, founds Constantinople as the new capital, and introduces the solidus, a pure gold coin, 4.5 grams, fixed value, no debasement allowed. It's a masterstroke. The solidus becomes the Byzantine Empire's backbone for 700 years, stabilizing the East through dark ages. But the West, it's too far gone. The denarius is now pure bronze with silver dust sprinkled on top. Inflation rages at 200% yearly. Unpaid legions let the Visigoths cross the frozen Rhine in 406 AD. Alaric sacks Rome in 410 AD, the first time in 800 years. The coin that built aqueducts now pays barbarians to burn the city. Constantine's gold saves the eastern remnant as Byzantium, but the Western Roman Empire gasps its last in 476 AD, strangled by its own bad money. The fall wasn't Vandals or Huns, it was the denarius's betrayal. Let's crunch the numbers, because history isn't stories, it's spreadsheets. Rome minted 100 million denarii yearly at peak. Over 200 years of debasement, silver purity drops 98% to 0%. Total lost silver? 500 tons. At $2,500 per ounce in 2025, that's $1 trillion vanished, enough to fund 10,000 legions for a century. Instead, it bought famines, revolts, and the end. Echoes everywhere. Weimar, Germany, 1923, wheelbarrows of marks for bread, 300% monthly inflation. Zimbabwe, 2008, 89.7 sextillion%. Venezuela, 2018, 1,000,000%. All from printing presses run wild, just like Rome's mints. So why hasn't this happened to us? America studied Rome and built better. 1933, FDR seizes gold, but for stability, not theft. The Gold Reserve Act nationalizes it, backing the dollar at $35 an ounce. Bretton Woods, 1944, 44 nations peg their currencies to the dollar to gold. We hold 70% of the world's reserves. Fort Knox gleams with 147 million ounces. Nixon shocks the world in 1971, closing the gold window amid Vietnam costs and European runs. Fiat dollar? It works because trust is the new gold. Oil trades in dollars, petrodollar system since 1973. 88% of global FX, greenbacks. The Fed targets 2% inflation. Rome had no central bank, no brakes. The Fed, born 1913 from the panic of 1907, is our Diocletian, but smart. Dual mandate, stable prices, full employment. Jerome Powell in 2025 hikes rates to 5.5% to tame 3% inflation from supply chains. Quantitative easing, we taper it. Bond buys, targeted. Crypto challengers like Bitcoin? Sure, digital gold, but dollar dominates 60% of reserves. No hyperinflation because we learned. Print for growth, not graft. Rome's emperors minted for armies. We meant for innovation. $28 trillion GDP in 2025, world's engine. $35 trillion US debt sounds Roman, but context matters. China's hoarding 2,200 tons of gold, pushing yuan in bricks. But 88% trade, still dollars. AI boom adds $15 trillion GDP by 2030. Lesson from Rome, debase at your peril. We diversify.